every woman on the planet is going to love that. Plus the fact that you can take it with you. You've already been ingesting it all your life through some means or other, vegetable, plants, fruits, nuts, grass, the meat you eat or whatever. And no allergic reaction to it.
No.
Totally calms down all of your anxiety. Gets rid of any addiction that you may have.
That's right.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, where we speak the language of cannabis freely and uncensored while educating our audience on safe use of this live plant therapy. You should know what's in your cannabis, what's good and what's not, because cannabis does not come with an FDA stamp of approval, yet. The information you will find here comes straight from scientists and clinicians, doing the work and reporting their findings in reputable outlets. Hopefully, we can inspire you to research the facts as we know them today. Cannabis is an amazing alternative in health remedies, with the potential to alleviate typical disease problems and troubling side effects, even those caused by synthetic prescriptions. Here now is the host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast. She is a 21st century cannabis shaman, not a doctor, not a scientist. Raised by nuns and wolves in the verdant cattle pastures of the Oklahoma oil fields, here to amplify the truth of this great big story of cannabis in historical, political, scientific, and spiritual terms, so you can make educated decisions about the medicine you choose to ingest. Please welcome Honey Smith-Walls.
Dear audience, I am so tickled to present this little series for you to understand something that has made a huge change in my life, and I hope it will yours as well. It is my great pleasure to introduce a man whose work is transforming how we think about health and healing and the human body. Dr. Philip Blair is a board-certified physician, a graduate of West Point and the University of Miami School of Medicine, as well as a retired U.S. Army colonel with over 30 years of medical service. And after decades of caring for soldiers and families around the world, Dr. Blair turned his focus to something extraordinary, and it's new science. The body's endocannabinoid system. You've heard me talk about it a lot. And how it helps find balance, relief, and resilience. Exactly. He found Blair Medical Group and BC Plus. I'm always talking about it. And he did it to bring evidence-based physician-guided support to people seeking natural solutions for pain and anxiety and chronic illness. Don't forget inflammation. Dr. Blair has helped thousands of patients understand that the body truly can heal itself when given the right support. So here with us to explain this brand new science, I'm so excited about it, of an ancient compound that we've been ingesting all our lives. It's true, in minute quantities. Dr. Blair will lead us through this series of questions to help us see the benefit of using beta-Caryophyllene. It's a big, long, syllable word. I love it. Beta-Caryophyllene. Please join me in warmly welcoming a compassionate pioneer and thought leader in endocannabinoid health, Dr. Philip Blair. Hiya, Dr. Blair. So wonderful for you to come back and join us for another little session about beta-Caryophyllene. It's my favorite compound, and you are my favorite doctor to explain it all.
Oh, I'm so grateful for that. That's very kind of you. And I really appreciate your appreciation for this marvelous substance that we have not really recognized for its great value to behavior, to immunity, to metabolism, and to our overall well-being.
Wow, it sounds like a miracle compound. I know, sorry. And it also feels like a miracle compound, I just want to say. but I'll talk about that later. That's my own personal story. I want Dr. Blair to be able to explain this stuff to you because it makes a difference knowing the science behind this. And today we want to talk about women and hormones and anxiety. And so what have you found out about beta-Caryophyllene helping women through the most typical pain in their life, anxiety? Probably one of the oldest pains in their lives.
Well, one of the first things I saw with beta-Caryophyllene was this calming effect that occurs immediately after dosing. Within a couple minutes, people have a calming sensation, especially women. They will resonate with the flavor and the taste and the aroma of the beta-Caryophyllene. And when they do that, they will recognize the benefits almost immediately. They'll go into a calm, relaxed state. They'll go into a cognitive focus. They'll get things mentally. They'll get them coordinated. They'll have a relaxation of their limbs, of their joints, and they will feel calm, and there'll be laughter. Invariably, there is laughter after you take your first dose. And your voice will change as well. So there's a number of different positive changes that will happen after a single dose. Now, not only that, but beta-Caryophyllene actually works on the hormone systems, particularly on the stress hormones. So adrenaline and cortisol, it calms those down. And so it depletes them, and they subdues them so that you're not getting that fight or flight reaction in any time. Plus, it actually generates, it stimulates brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which creates other types of nervous connections. It'll create other nerves and neuritogenesis or another axon and dendritic connections in the brain at the same time. So you're getting a host of different benefits. And that's important in the last part of that, because that's where a lot of our anxiety comes from and a lot of our depression comes from, is in that factor that we're not making the right new nerve connections in the brain. And so menopause seems to be focused on that, and there's an underlying depression that occurs, and this will relieve that depression almost immediately.
I can attest to that. I was spiraling, and I'm a real happy person ordinarily, but I was spiraling with anxiety, and I had death around me, and not my own, but I got a hold of your product and used it, and I just felt the immediate lift of that deep depression that feels like you're being strangled in sadness and grief. And it was such a relief to come up out of that hideous emotional state. And so it really did work for me very, very quickly too, I have to say.
Now, one of the other things that is, it's actually metabolically very active. So it actually stimulates the production of more mitochondria and actually shifts the body over to a more efficient energy production in terms of oxidative phosphorylation. And it actually stimulates the release of lipids in order to burn that. So it's burning fat, it's creating energy, and part of the problem with menopause is a listlessness that may go on with it, and the depression and the inflammation. And so BCP actually stimulates the mitochondria and stimulates a greater energy. So you may have had a lot more energy than you previously had.
Oh, I absolutely do. And it felt like that depression, added to that lack of energy. It just depletes your energy. And as soon as I felt the joy coming back, and it literally was, Joy in my head. As soon as I felt it coming back, I knew that the depression was leaving. And I just didn't understand how all of that could be possible, how that could work from a little tiny compound in a plant.
I understand. It's so surprising, and people invariably they're so shocked that you can get this substance and it can have these immediate effects on your mood dramatically. Now, one of the factors is as an antidepressant and antioxidant. So it's a superb both of those, and that is a component of depression in and of itself. And so if you relieve those things, then you're going to substantially improve your overall feelings and your overall activity levels because you're not getting neuroinflammation.
Yeah, some of these questions. Women in menopause often struggle with anxiety spikes, and beta-Caryophyllene just calms that down so beautifully, and it feels so balanced. And anxiety spikes, yeah, anything could trigger me, anything. The dog barking, the cat meowing, the refrigerator opening. And so I'm realizing what that spike feels like inside, and I don't get those anymore.
So that sounds like the adrenaline. That sounds like the stress reaction, the adrenaline and the cortisol. And that's one of the things, the key factors that beta-Caryophyllene quiets down and calms, and it prevents that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. The fear that comes along from just being a baby boomer, we were just programmed into that whole era. Girls were just really programmed to be fearful women, and we are. And the anxiety shows up in the craziest ways. And we've tried for so many years to control this anxiety and our emotions through prescriptive medications that add brain fog to our day, and constipation and IBS and sleeplessness and jerking shoulders and just immense complications and issues on top of what we were already suffering.
Yeah, honey, no.
This is a shout out to all my entrepreneurial sisters. I'm wondering, are you feeling stuck like I did when I first started my business? I hadn't been through business college, and there were so many things I didn't know and understand, especially about marketing, especially about the back-end bone structure of your business, and all the little things that you could do to help yourselves in the way of tools. So looking forward, if you need help in getting those little projects done, but you've been stumped because you just couldn't figure out one piece of that app or the next step or the next darn, and you just wanted somebody to just show me how. I'm your girl. That's why I created honeyshelp.com. Now you can get a la carte help for those little projects that have just been nagging you. I can help you with a lot of that stuff that builds the backbones of your business. And we can do it together, stress-free, where you will enjoy learning how to structure the backbones of your business. I hope that you will go visit honeyshelp.com for more information about what we could do together to get you past those hurdles that have just been stumping you for so long, when all it would take is just a few minutes of somebody showing you how. I'm your girl. This is Honey Smith Walls, and I hope that you will too. Go visit honeyshelp.com today. I was such an anxious woman, I had no idea. But when I used this, that's all gone. It's just gone. So I wanted to let you know that if you've got any kind of issues using a cannabinoid or the cannabis plant, you could get this to use for pain relief and anxiety relief and inflammatory relief. The three things I talk about most by using cannabis products. And yes, Dr. Blair also has cannabis products that he has formulated too. But this one, this is just one terpene. in a liposomal form. That means you can swallow it and it's liquid and kind of tastes like caramel apples to me. So you see this girl thriving at 71. I blame this product for most of it. I hope you too go look up Dr. Blair's. It's called Able Docs Apothecary is the name of his company. You can find him at blairmedicalgroup.la as well. And the name of the product is BC Plus. BC Plus. It's so cool. Hi, Honey Smith Walls here. I'm host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, weekly for the past 6 years. But today I'm inviting you to a Facebook group called the Holistic Relief Summit, in hopes that you too will come for the peace and stay for the epiphanies. It's a beautiful space for women to find all kinds of relief from all kinds of suffering. Come join us for free.
Honey knows, honey grows.
And we've tried for so many years to control this anxiety and our emotions through prescriptive medications.
And these substances are actually addictive. And they've been denied by the pharmaceutical industry, but we know that benzodiazepines and SSRIs are, in a sense, addictive. And they modify our behavior and our tone of our lives. And so one of the factors that BCP can do is it can relieve those addictions right away. If you get on BCP, you can continue first of all, you can take anything with BCP. BCP doesn't interact with any drug or any adverse effects. So you're not going to get any sort of adverse or complications from it. And then if you want to...
That's jaw-dropping. You can't see a medicine on TV that doesn't have a huge list of contraindications that the legal guys make them say out loud in triple speed.
But BCP doesn't have any of these things.
None of that.
And one of the factors is it's anti-addictive for all substances, for opioids, for benzodiazepines, for SSRIs, for methamphetamine, for cocaine, alcohol even. And it's actually anti-addictive for sugary, spicy foods. So it's actually been studied in food addictions, and it negated the effects of food addictions. And I've used it in countless number of patients who have had their appetites wane with it, and they lose that craving for sweets and high carbohydrates, which has a major adverse effect on the body, leading towards diabetes and other complications.
I have to say, I used to be a Dr. Pepper junkie before I started using BC Plus, and I don't buy it anymore. I just don't need it. And I used to have a liter a day. I just guzzle that stuff like it's water. And I'm just realizing, I don't need it. Yeah, it's definitely had a greater effect on me. And I have all those chemicals from the soda in me all day and all night long. My body is responding better. I have more energy because I'm not using those chemicals to all that. Wow.
And have you noticed any changes in your weight or in your shape?
Oh, yes. In fact, I didn't think this jacket was going to fit me, and it slid on so beautifully. I almost need a belt with it.
That's another one of these side benefits that come with Educator.
Honestly. Now, every woman on the planet is going to love that. Plus the fact that you can take it with you. You've already been ingesting it all your life through some means or other, vegetable, plants, fruits, nuts, grass, the meat you eat or whatever. And there no allergic reaction to it.
No.
Totally calms down all of your anxiety. Nothing gets rid of any addiction that you may have.
That's right.
Wow.
And so what I advise people, if they are on a substance they want to get rid of, is to take the BCP along with the substance and recognize the benefits that they're getting from the BCP, and then start tapering the other substance. Let's say it's a benzodiazepine or an SSRI. Start tapering that substance over a period of time, and then decide when they are ready to eliminate that substance and deprescribe that substance. Now, generally, I set it up for a 4-week time frame, but invariably they're done within 2 weeks and they're off that medication.
Oh my gosh, just 2 weeks?
Yes.
Holy cow. That in itself is huge news. If people only knew they could stop drinking with the help of this product.
Yeah, and opioids as well.
And opioids as well. Just a few drops or a crunchy. These are wonderful. Did you put cinnamon in these?
I don't think there's cinnamon in them.
No?
There's monk fruit.
Oh, that's what it is. It's got some sweet something. It was wonderful. Anyway, those are slightly addicting. Only because they taste so good. Oh, goodness. So is there any difference in how BC Plus works in men or women?
It's really quite confusing. If you look at the endocannabinoid system, there are very distinctive differences. And one of the factors had to do with, I read a study recently that said that with regard to pain, that BCP does not work as well in women as it does in men. Men will get almost complete relief of their pain, whereas women have some substantial residual pain. But that's not what I've seen in clinical experience, where women frequently get a huge reaction and they get a great relief, and men sort of dismiss it as not being so important for them. I don't understand it completely. I'm hoping to get more information from my clients.
I will be real interested to hear about that. What about kids? Do kids take it?
Oh, yes. I've had some marvelous stories. In fact, one child who had autism, he was fairly high level functioning as an autistic. He took a dose and he had a marvelous change in his behavior. It calmed him immediately down. He felt relaxed. He started playing with his siblings. And now he goes to his mom whenever he gets anxious and upset, and he asks her for brain food.
Oh, don't you love that? Brain food. I really get that.
So CBD, autism has been, the CBD has been marketed for autism, and it works. It can work quite effectively. But there's some people, some autistics that actually get worse with CBD in the later stages, in the late teens. Whereas BCP, they're not going to get that sort of anxiety that goes along with it, and they're going to calm down. So that's one of the things that I promote is the BCP in autism and in attention deficit disorder, because it has a calming effect and it'll keep you focused on what's going on and keep you relaxed.
I have been spending some time with some people with ADHD, and wow. As soon as I explained to them about BC Plus, they ordered some, and it has made an incredible difference in their ability to listen and process what I'm telling them and move forward without fear, without anxiety. And that's been a real blessing for them. I've seen that firsthand. I felt it firsthand. But
what I don't understand is why people don't recognize that this substance, oftentimes people will use it for a while. They seem to improve. I don't know if they're curing their illnesses and they're no longer needing it, and that's why they don't use it anymore, or they're just ignoring the fact that they've had these benefits. But there's so many people who discontinue it after a couple weeks, and they just seem to forget about it. And then if they have an exacerbation of their problem, then they'll recognize that they have it and they'll get back on it. But unless that happens, they will discontinue it and they won't recognize the benefits.
I understand what you're talking about. I get a little frustrated having to remind people to Did you take your medicine? You know, did you, because you'll hear the complaints, right? Just like you said, they're off it for a few days. All of a sudden the hip's hurting, mind's a scramble, and they've got IBS again. And did you take your medicine?
It's so forgettable. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either. I have run out a couple of times and been out of it for a period of three days one time and 4 days another time. And I was like a wild woman waiting at the mailbox because I didn't like the anxiety that came back. And I was surprised that it came back so quickly. So, that tells me I've probably got a lot of inner work to do still.
Beta-Caryophyllene actually makes changes in the genetic structure. It makes epigenetic changes that are going on in the gene. So it's shifting the body around in terms of its metabolism and the DNA mechanisms that are in function. And what I was hoping for was that they would make that shift, a dramatic shift, and people could be cured from their illnesses with these epigenetic changes. But that hasn't always happened, and I'm disappointed. But I have seen some PTSD patients recover completely, and they're off of the product altogether, and they don't have any continued need for it.
Wow. And that's a big deal. That is a big deal, because PTSD in front of every thought that you have is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. It's just terrible.
Well, what we try to do, what we're doing is modifying the endocannabinoid system, and that's what BCP does. BCP modifies the endocannabinoid system, and it restores it to near normal. And when it gets to be near normal, then you can devote yourself to those lifestyle changes that you need in terms of sleep, exercise, the proper eating, meditation, and socialization. And these are all factors that are major benefits for beta-Caryophyllene. So if you can recover those, then you can get back to normal by restoring your lifestyle.
I can't tell you how much better I sleep now. And also, I think you just answered your own question. Why do people forget? Why do people forget about it? Are they being a little more cured? I'm not sure. But I can tell you that after I've been taking it for a year, maybe, I don't use cannabis the way I used to. I don't rely on it. I don't think about it as often. I can go for days without using cannabis now, but I can't go days without using BC Plus yet because of the anxiety. And that just feels like it's programmed into me and needs to be deprogrammed.
Mm-hmm. And maybe some other lifestyle changes that need to be in order for you.
Ooh, ding, 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 doctor.
Maybe there's some dietary changes that need to happen as well.
Yeah. Change is on the horizon, and I am unafraid, and I account that for the compound that has been able to calm me down. And I know so many women who are so afraid like I was, and I want them to understand what a beautiful and gentle plant therapy this is for their mind and their heart and their body. You said what was that thought? That beta-Caryophyllene will balance the ECS, the endocannabinoid receptor system. How could just one compound balance that whole receptor system when it binds with so many other hundreds of compounds that it's named after accidentally?
It's what we call pleiotropic. It connects to so many different receptors. There's hundreds of receptors that it is in contact with, and plus enzymes, and it modifies the genes as well. So it's making a huge number of connections, and they all seem to be very well balanced. And I haven't come across any studies that have shown it to be an adverse effect in any way. Now, it has to do with the molecule. It's an antioxidative molecule that is extremely protective against oxidation species, but it also works on its signaling capacity. And it works on different signaling across the body on nuclear receptors magnificently. And nuclear receptors trigger cascades of genes and enzymes throughout the body and stimulatory microproteins that actually restore the body's function and prevent diseases and inflammation. And so it's an amazing compound in that it has all of these different benefits, even beyond what the CB2 receptor, well beyond what the CB2 receptor does.
Well, I'm a little starstruck at being taught about how my body works and all of those domino effects. I so appreciate you connecting the dots for us, because it's just a mystery to, to us civilians out here. You guys are the ones who, got to learn all of that, and we just kind of stay in the dark. We don't have to now because we've got some really great high technology, but I still trust what you say over what ChatGPT has to say about it. So, I'm so grateful that you could take the time to give us a look at what's inside of us and why this particular compound is so effective. It's just amazing, isn't it?
It is. I keep discovering new things all the time. It's a fascinating story about the interventions that it could work on. And I keep discovering new different things and advantages of using beta-Caryophyllene that have not been found before. You said that it doesn't interact with anything. Does it complement, I would assume, yes,
everything?
It is amazingly complementary of CBD. So cannabidiol, it works extraordinarily with CBD, which is, from a full spectrum cannabis, you want to have a terpenes and you want to have CBD, and they work together and they reduce the actual required dosage for pain relief considerably. And CBD has been combined in cancers and in stroke-like syndromes and myocardial infarctions, and it's protected the body enormously in combination, where it's given the best effects. Now, it works really well with opioids, and so you can reduce the amount of opioids by using beta-Caryophyllene, so you don't need as much. You don't need to take, and you'll prevent yourself from getting tolerant to the opioids as well. And there's no tolerance effect at all with BCP, so you're not going to be dependent on it at a later time. You can stop it at any time, and there's no dependency at all, because the CB2 receptor is always active and it doesn't have a tolerance receptor system in it.
Oh my gosh. There is so much to learn, and it's just absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Next time, can we talk about, more inflammation and pain in the bodies and how that happens to us as we're aging and how to combat that? I bet you all know what the answer is going to be already, but I want Dr. Blair to explain some of that stuff so that we have a better understanding. Will you come back and do it one more time with us?
I would love to. I enjoy this so much.
Thank you. I do too. And so, all right, audience, we'll see you next time on the flip side.
Honey knows, honey grows.
You've been listening to another Cannabis Truth Podcast with 21st century cannabis shaman Honey Smith Walls. Using cannabis mindfully as medication is a different concept in Western healthcare philosophy, specifically over the past century. There's a lot to learn and reconsider. The scientific truth of cannabis is finally getting out and is wide open for all to see at respected medical sites like the National Library of Medicine at pubmed.gov and the Journal of American Medical Association at JAMAnetwork.com. We here at the Cannabis Truth Podcast are right there in the thick of it, alongside the titans of medicine, as a fly on the wall. We are not doctors, nor did we go to medical school, but we have taken dozens of private cannabis courses and still engage in continuing education offered by expert cannabis scientists. Over the past few years, we slowly began to see and understand the bigger picture. Now we hear from people all day long about cannabis. It is so important to use verifiably safe products. The process of getting a diagnosis from your family doctor and taking your records to a cannabis specialist can lead you to the correct cannabinoid therapy for your specific issues. Otherwise, you're simply your own guinea pig looking for answers without the foundational knowledge or ability to determine your best strategy. To find a qualified cannabis expert in your area, visit cannabisclinicians.org. This is a national society of cannabis experts. Look for the link in the show notes. Unless otherwise proven by a reputable third-party lab test, please regard all street weed as contaminated. It may do grave harm to a patient with a delicate immune system who already has inflammatory issues like arthritis, IBS, fibromyalgia, or worse. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you find value and understanding through the conversations you've heard on this podcast.
A quick shout out to Nathan Pierce and Daniel Rome of the 406 Budcast and their brilliant tech goddesses who created what you're about to hear next.
She walked in with wisdom and a fire in her eyes, talking plant truth where the silence lies. From the roots to the bloom, she saw the light. Now she's teaching folks how to heal it right. Not afraid to challenge the tale of lazy myths in a system that failed. She's got science in one hand, stories in the other. Lifts up the voices they tried to smother. Honey knows, honey grows. Truth in the soil and love in the smoke. Speaking for the elders and the ones left behind. She's the shaman of the leaf with a warrior's mind. Yeah, honey knows how the healing flows. Sun to digital waves. She's breaking down fear with every word she says. Cannabis truth, that's her battle cry. For the mamas and papas still scared to try. She ain't selling hype, she's serving facts. Taking big pharma to school with class. With a mic and a mission, she lights the way. The lost and the curious every day. Honey knows, honey grows. Truth in the bud and peace in the dose. Teaching the plant like a sacred art. From the ECS to the beating heart. Yeah, honey knows. Been burned by the system, lifted by the plant, giving voice to the ones who thought they can. A sister, a savior.